Now, this next comment leads us right into the other game that we're going to dive into in depth, as Mr. Fantu V says, I'm convinced nobody respects the Broncos. 1, bad for 8 years. 2, people think Bo Nix not NFL worthy starter. 3, people don't respect non-great offensive W's regardless of defensive performance. 4, cope with a laughing emoji. And so that brings us to our next game, gentlemen, as the Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19. This was a highly expected game, and yet the Broncos ended up getting the job done. Bo Nix comes in clutch late in this one. And so, Kevin, I'm going to toss it to you first on this game. Just what was your reaction to the Broncos slaying the mighty Chiefs and defending their home field?
I think the crazy thing that really stands out to this point of the season is the Chiefs just are losing a little bit of that it factor. Last year, they were 11-0 in one-score games. This year, they're 0-5. This is the first time Patrick Mahomes has been 500 since he became the starter in 2015. There are a lot of things with this offense that we used to just chalk it up to Pat magic. He'll make a play, he'll throw a deep bomb, and they'll score a touchdown. When you have literally no running game, they only ran the ball 14 times. That just goes to show we can't run. We're not going to run. We're just going to give up on it. We're just going to pass the ball. We saw Rashid Rice come back, and we really saw this offense take that next step. You got guys like Isaiah Worthy. You got Travis Kelce, who was able to get into the end zone this weekend. But this defense has been phenomenal in years past. And not even just years past. Earlier in the season, they've had really big standout games where they're not giving up a lot of points. But when you can't stop somebody defensively and you let somebody just tear you up however they want, whenever they want, it's going to be hard. You know, we're used to this defense making plays when they need to. This offense isn't able to come out and perform like they have in the past. But now we're looking at this defense as a Spags defense that's usually making everybody in the NFL on the opposing team struggle, have bad nights, but that's not the case anymore. You know, Chris Jones isn't what Chris Jones used to be. And getting back to the Denver comment, you know, Bo Nix, who I think should really have a serious MVP argument, 295, 24 of 37. He didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any picks. You know, this offense has a lot of weapons. You know, the Troy Franklins, the Pat Bryants, the Cortland Suttons, the Evan Ingrams, RJ Harvey stepping up when J.K. Dobbins go down. They even have Jael McLaughlin, who was able to get into the end zone this week. So the Broncos have a lot of weapons. And what no one's talking about as the Broncos is this defense. Pat Surtain has been out for a couple of weeks, and they're still figuring out ways to shut down teams. And I get it. I love being the one guy in the NFL that has the white cornerback. But Riley Moss ain't no joke. Riley Moss is making plays when it needs to be played. So you can't just look at that cornerback room and only see Pat Surtain. They have Jahad Barron from Texas, who's coming in his rookie year, really making plays. So they have a hell of an edge rusher. So they're finding ways to win games. And Sean Payton, with this offense, they're finding ways to win games. As a Broncos fan, that's all you can ask for. So are they going to win the division? You know, they have a hell of a lead in front of the division, especially with the Chargers losing on Sunday. So the Broncos are no joke. We got to tip our caps to the Broncos.
Kaz, what was your reaction to this one, as the Broncos are one of the best teams in the NFL at 9-2?
I'm just I don't know how, honestly. Like,
man,
the defense. I mean, fuck. Like, but they didn't have Surtain. So I mean, is it Sean Payton? I think that's probably who I think comes down to. I think that they have a coach that knows how to win games. He's no stranger to winning games, obviously. He has a Super Bowl ring, and even when he didn't have a Super Bowl ring, the Saints were, they were in the playoffs. They were contenders. So they found something in Bo Nix. We knew that going into this season. He had an amazing year last year, he was a rookie. Yeah. So proved a lot of people wrong. I think that he's kind of getting a little bit of the Jalen Hurts treatment, where it's like people, whoever was in that comment that let that comment did say, like, he's not getting the respect he deserves. The dude balls. Whoever says that Bo Nix is not NFL worthy is crazy. There's no way. I understand that now is it always a quarterback that wins games, but we have watched Bo Nix literally, like probably 3 to 4 times this season alone, kind of put the team on his back. And that's kind of you know what it reminded me of? It reminds me of what people ride Josh Allen for. Yep, 100%. Similar play style, not as big and as strong, but similar play style where it's like the Bills need to make some plays, right? Something's got to happen, and you already know who's going to be the guy with the ball. They only got Cortland Sutton there, and what was it, Troy Franklin, right? Yeah. So it's like those two dudes. I'm not even sure if I know Cortland Sutton could start some teams, but like even that's kind of like questionable. Like this is like there's some good receiving cores out there, some really good wide receivers to where Cortland Sutton might. This is just me spitballing. He might be able to start for like 4 other teams as a true wide receiver one, as number one. That's how many good wide receivers are out there right now. So like the fact of the matter is, they got J.K. Dobbins, who unfortunately hurt again for the rest of the season. But even before that, his career was supposed to be over. To get R.J. Harvey, they don't even use him the right way. They don't use him at all, barely. I think he's only had like about 2 good games this season, like legitimate games. Who's doing on offense, guys? It's Bo Nix. J.K. Dobbins, Bo Nix. That's about it. And I wouldn't necessarily say as an Eagles fan that they're a team that like I would fear personally. I think that we're just too damn good. Even though they did get us already, but there's some things that can factor into that reason, but whatever. But like they're not winning a Super Bowl. I'll say that. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. They're not even going to go to the Super Bowl. No. There's a solid chance they might make an AFC championship. I think there really is. It's all going to come down to seeding and who they're going to play in that divisional round, because I think that they win the first round in the playoffs. If they might even end up getting the first round bye. So we'll see when we get there. But for right now, they're just a team that's kind of underappreciated. They're definitely not respected as much as they should be. As someone who's not a Denver Broncos fan at all, and I was the biggest Bo Nix hater last year, and I shut my mouth this year. I think that what they did against the Chiefs, Chiefs are a hard team to beat, man. I mean, they've ran that division since Mahomes has been there, and it was a good game, close game. This wasn't like Denver went out there and beat them 31-7. You don't want to be in a close game with the Chiefs unless you're a damn good team, and they were in a close game with the Chiefs, and pretty much said, "Hey, we're gonna make you like beat us in the playoffs if we see the playoffs, because we're running this division." So, especially with the Chargers losing, so you gotta take your hat off to Denver, man. You got to. They're a good team. They're good. I think they're well coached. They're well coached, man. I think it comes down to coaching. I think that Sean Payton has those guys willing to rally behind him, and I think that they got the personnel to where they believe in themselves. And as a current coach and a former athlete, sometimes that's all it takes. You have a team that you guys believe in one another, and you got a guy leading the charge that's going to help you guys, get to the promised land, and whatever that promised land is, not a Super Bowl. I think that the Broncos are going to make it far. So I might put some money on them winning the division. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to do that after this podcast, if I still can.
Well, exactly. If you still can, if only you didn't do that like 2 to 3 weeks ago, because the odds would have been much more in your favor. But as Grey Wolf says, leading the league 9-2, and Grey Wolf also says twice, "Woo!" with a Ric Flair strut walk in there. And as Jaevon, you could respond to this comment. Obviously, we're on this panel with 2 Eagles fans, but at Mr. Fantov says, "Not gonna lie, Broncos just Eagles of the AFC, built and play the same damn near minus the Super Bowl rings." So I see Kevin with the face palm. I don't know what Kaz's reaction to that, but Jaevon, as the unbiased person on this panel when it comes to that comment, what are your thoughts on the Broncos being the Eagles of the AFC?
Well, let's just go back. We can go back to his first comment that was talking about no one gives the Broncos respect. No one is talking about this. Bo Nix is this. Bo Nix is that. It's almost like someone on this podcast a couple of weeks ago when we did our top 5 teams in the NFL. Someone had the Broncos number 1. I don't know who it was. I keep forgetting what his name. Oh yeah, that's right. It was me. I was the one that had that Broncos number 1 on and the best team in the league. And then Kevin's calling me all types of names. I got people DMing me, telling me I need to be removed off the podcast. You don't know what you're talking about. You beat this team. You beat that team. Oh, by the way, one of those wins just so happens to be, oh, that's right, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I remember that game was also in Philadelphia, and the Broncos had to come back in the second half and win that game. I mean, I just come on here and I just tell it. I call it how I see it. I mean, this is what it is. So, I did it, and then after the week after we did our top 5 list, they came out and they had that game against the Raiders, and everybody, oh, you could. This is the team that you had number 1. Relax, guys. Let's take it back a little bit. Just let's take a couple steps back. It's a divisional game. You guys play each other twice a year. It gets a little. Those divisional games. I mean, the Eagles fans on this podcast. I mean, they lost to the Giants. I mean, hell, this is just how it is. I mean, as far as this game go, I'll go back to what his next comment was. Are they the Eagles of the? Hey, thank you, Shaun. Appreciate that. When it comes down to are they the Eagles of the AFC, I won't say it from a talent standpoint, because if you look at how the Eagles roster is constructed, you got AJ Brown, he's making like top 5 money. You got Saquon Barkley, he's making top 5 money, and then you also have Jalen Hurts, who's also making top 5 money. So I mean, I'm looking at, as far as a talent standpoint, I think the Broncos are drafting really well. They have a lot of younger guys that will develop into those type of players. But on the offensive side of the ball, I can't say that they are relatively close to what the Eagles are, because you have, like I already mentioned, AJ Brown, got Devontae Smith. You have Saquon Barkley. And now I do think a reason why the Broncos don't have as much of a talented offense is because they're still paying Russell Wilson a shit ton of money. And it's like, when a lot of your money is allocated to one person and you have a relatively young team, you can't really allocate your cap is basically fucked because of all the money that was given to Russell Wilson in advance, and we all already know how that debacle went. They paid him to literally leave, and Sean Payton has been doing a lot more with less. And Kaz also mentioned the relevancy of what the Saints were when Sean Payton, Drew Brees were there, and they were just winning games nonstop. And I think we kind of forget what good of a coach that Sean Payton is, because obviously he had Drew Brees, but Sean Payton was also a big reason of why the Saints were winning a bunch of games year in and year out and being in playoff pictures. So, Kaz did say, I don't know if they're going to be a number 1 seed. Well, I mean, shit, they're 9-2 right now, Kaz. So the math is in their favor for sure. For them to be able to get a number 1 seed, and it's really, really tough. We've seen in past years to go and win a game in Mile High, especially in a road playoff setting. So the Broncos, I mean, they're a tough out as far as a team, what their defense can bring, and their offense doesn't usually turn the ball over. So that's going to translate when it comes to the playoffs. Now on the Chiefs side, I think we got to start having these questions. Now, for a lot of new people that listen to this podcast, I have mentioned when the Chiefs kind of started to look a little weird, I kind of compared them to a country club kid whose card gets declined at the country club. They start swiping their card, and they're trying to figure out, hey, like, what's going on? Yeah, it's saying your card's declined here. Did your membership renew? I don't know if your dad, he usually fronts the bill. Well, you guys don't know who my father is and what my family brings to this. He's that guy that's making a scene at the country club, and you're like, oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with Bill? He's usually really calm and happy and this, that, and the third. The Chiefs,
damn it, Bill.
They always go. They got used to it, man. Patrick Mahomes, first year in AFC Championship game. Wow, this guy can really play. Next year, Super Bowl. AFC Championship, Super Bowl. It's just they got accustomed to it. It was just the Chiefs weren't really used to winning like this. Now, they were winning games, but not to the success of when Patrick Mahomes took over the helm. I get it with Andy Reid and Alex Smith. They were winning games, getting to playoff, having playoff appearances, so on and so forth. But when obviously Patrick Mahomes took over, it was the Chiefs' invitation. And now you're kind of looking at it from a lens of Travis Kelce is a little bit older, Chris Jones is older. It's kind of a revolving door of what your receiver room looks like. Obviously, Tyreek Hill isn't walking through that door. You just got Rashee Rice back, but you're just trying to get him acclimated with everything that needs to kind of. It's very unusual because you're seeing Patrick Mahomes turn the ball over in the red zone, which is very, very uncharacteristic of him. And by the way, I mean, I did say that Patrick Mahomes wasn't the best quarterback in the league before the season started. I also was they tried to hang me from wherever it was. They wanted to cut my hands off and drag me through the streets because I said Josh Allen was the best quarterback in the league. And he had 6 touchdowns yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. I do think that the Chiefs are in danger of missing the playoffs. Like, this is a real – like, if you look – right now, the Chiefs are not in playoff contention. The playoffs started today. Chiefs will not be in it because I think it's for the 7th seed. It's between the Jags and the Chiefs. And guess who beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, guys? The Jags. So, I mean, the NFL's giving you chances. They usually give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt, but right now it's kind of like you guys can't afford to lose more games because you're already 5-5 right now. You start creeping, you gotta go. People are kind of waiting for the Chiefs to go on this run, and there's probably a bunch of people betting the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, which is probably a pretty penny right now because they're not showing you anything that they're going to be able to make a run and win the Super Bowl. But I do think when it comes down to it, the Chiefs will probably, maybe make the playoffs. But I know if they do get in, a lot of people are going to be betting them. It's going to be a similar situation to when the Warriors played against the Rockets in the playoffs last year, and obviously the Warriors were favorites, but the new young team that was coming in, and the Chiefs are going to be the Warriors basically. So I think a lot of people would probably end up betting the Chiefs, but that would be a good spot to bet against them, just kind of based off of the year that they have. But who's to say that they're even going to make the playoffs? But for the new listening podcast, people that listen to the podcast, we like to say on this podcast, life comes at you fast. and right now, it's coming at the Chiefs a hell of a lot fast, and they're not accustomed to being in this situation. So we'll see how they try to wiggle their way out of this. But right now, I don't know if the Chiefs are even going to make the playoffs.
Well, Jaevon, I give you your credit that you had the Broncos at number 1 in your NFL power rankings a couple weeks ago. But let's not forget who had them at number 2. Because unlike our fellow 2 panelists, you and I had the Broncos in our top 5. I had them at 2. You had them at 1. For some mysterious reason. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said you did not have the Eagles in there.
No, I did not. And I got an earful from the gentleman that's to my left on the screen. But if we did the top 5 again, they would probably be in my top 5, especially after last night's win. And so, guys,